Hey everyone, it's Michael Zapersky, and today I'm here with Charles Demontigny. Charles, welcome.
Thank you, Michael, for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on here today. You're the founder of Fluxion, which helps e-commerce companies and others in the advertising kind of space increase their sales with some really cool AI, machine learning, some very kind of technical stuff that you are an expert at. And you started the business, I believe, back in April of 2019 after working as a data scientist. So in less than 2 years, I mean, you've really grown the business considerably. I've been honored to kind of be on the sidelines of watching you and seeing how that's played out. But I've just been really impressed with how you've grown your business in such a short period of time. Just take a moment, Charles, and kind of tell us a little bit about what's changed most in your business, let's say over the last 12 months, kind of where you are today and how that compares to where things were when you got started.
Yeah, and I think that's a great moment to do it since like it's the end of the year. So in the last 12 months, we were only two in the company, me and another employee part-time in December 2019. And today, basically, we are five and we are making a software. So we were consulting, just doing custom software last year. And today I'm building my own thing and looking forward to create a SaaS product.
Awesome. Let's then kind of back up a little bit. Tell us about your background, your area of expertise. So you were a data scientist. Just kind of like, how did you get into this whole field?
Yeah, so I studied economics and mostly econometrics, so statistical analysis for economics data. My dad is a software engineer, so I was really passionate about the software part of thing too. And after my master, I really wanted to work with data, so I started working 1 year in research, and after
Mm.
that, I worked for a smaller organization, and it was great because I had to touch everything, do everything. And after a few years, that company got sold, and I decided to make my own way and start my consulting. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more like what was going through your mind? Because a lot of people, even if their company got sold, they might just go and look for another job, right? Kind of just stay in the quote unquote corporate world. What was going on inside of your mind that just kind of gave you the kick to actually go off and enter entrepreneurship?
Yeah, actually, I wasn't fired at all when the company got sold. They gave me a huge bonus to stay, and I said to myself, oh, if they want me so bad to stay, might as well start my own company and ask them for a contract, and they probably say yes. So this is what was in my mind, and everybody told me I was crazy because it was a big bonus, and I had to stay for a few years. And I said to myself, no, I really don't want to stay that long in a bigger organization. I really want to start my own company. My dad was an entrepreneur too, my mom too, so this was in my blood. So I just decided to take that big gamble, and it pays out at the end. So
That's really awesome. I actually didn't know that your parents were entrepreneurs. Did they share it like when you kind of thinking back to when you were a kid? Um, were there lessons like did you guys sit around the dining room table talking about business, or is there any like anything that just comes to mind for you that you learned from your parents that you think really helped you to become the entrepreneur that you are today?
yeah, I think one thing that I think a lot is like my dad's company didn't go so good for a long time, and everything was fine anyway. Like even if it's not working, we live in Canada, so it's not like I'm not gonna eat or whatever. So even when things are bad, it's not that bad. So this is one thing I remember all the time. Like I'm not gonna die from hunger. Like so this is one thing. And no, this is they didn't taught me like nothing at all. But I just seeing them like having their company just
Yeah, you
change the way I see the world and the work too.
Yeah, it sounds like you learned it almost through osmosis, just by being around them. You were kind of absorbing it and sucking it up and taking some of those lessons. And I think it's actually a really good one, right? That so often as entrepreneurs and consultants, it's very normal to think about a situation that we're in, or not even that we're in, that we that might happen. and get all kind of tangled up in that, and that holds us back from taking action, right? It's, well, what, if I take this step, this thing could go wrong, that might happen, the ifs, the buts. But entrepreneurship really is about conquering those mindsets, or that kind of mental chatter that could hold us back, right? We take action, then we learn from it. And you're right that not for everybody, but I think for the vast majority of people who are tuning in right now, really ask yourself, like, what's the worst that could happen if you just went for it, or if you, tried something that you've been thinking about for some time, like launching a new marketing initiative, or just doing something different that you've been thinking about. And for most people, probably it wouldn't be that bad, right? If it didn't work out, it would just be a really great lesson and opportunity to improve. So, Charles, talk to us about the transition. So the company that you were working at got acquired. They said, hey, here's lots of money, stay with us. You said, well, I'm pretty valuable, maybe I won't. So what did you do? What was kind of the transition from you leaving that company? Did they become your first client? And what was that, the first kind of few interactions of clients, and just kind of like you building your business at the beginning? What did that look like?
Yeah, so they ended up being my first client, and also my second client was also another company that I used to work in the research. So I think it's really important for people listening to when you leave the corporate world to keep the relationship. This is the most important thing, because I didn't have a huge network at that time. So I barely have no network at that time. So having like those few clients, and this give you time to network and to do your marketing, and this was really game changing for me to have that time to think about my business and so on.
Right. When you look back to that time, like those, let's say the first 6 months or so of now you being out on your own, I mean, you had the kind of the comfort of that first client being your past employer. What stands out for you as kind of being the greatest challenge in those early days? What was going through your mind? What was maybe causing you some stress? What were you kind of laying in bed at night thinking about? Just kind of talk us through what took up a lot of your mind share at that time, and any challenges you were facing.
Yeah, so I had no idea like what I was going to do after, because it was a really niche market in real estate, and those data are not like available for other clients. So it didn't make any sense for me just to keep to stay in that niche. So I was really worried about like not finding a way to find new clients, and having like something. I didn't have like that one liner to explain what I was doing, so it was really hard for me to tell my friends and tell my family like what was my plan and what was my business. So today I'm really happy, but back in the days it was really hard.
Right. Let's talk actually a little bit more about that, because I've had the pleasure of seeing your business grow, as you being a client in the Clarity Coaching Program, and I know that you did a lot of thinking early on, Charles. As you said, like you came from a real estate background, and a lot of consultants are kind of they think, well, that's where my background is, right? So whatever industry they're coming from, and then oftentimes it can make a lot of sense to just lean more into that. So you could have gone back and said, yeah, I'm going to work in kind of machine learning, AI, all this types of stuff focused on real estate, but you didn't end up there, right? Today, that is not your main focus. Just talk us through a little bit about kind of the process that you went through to arrive at who your ideal client is today, because you certainly had many opportunities to work with others along the way, but you've really become very focused. Just walk us through kind of so that other people can benefit from that experience.
Yeah, I think first of all, it's just to really think about it, like where are the opportunities? Where for me, what it was like, where is the data? And there's plenty data in marketing right now, so this is one of the reasons I ended up there. But what you're passionate about, where you can really make a difference, and after that, it's really to like try. I've tried like a lot of things, because even though right now I'm working in marketing. I had like other opportunity that just came to me, and I've tried it. I work in finance. I had other clients really like all over the place. And at the end, it's really not good, because it's really hard to be like at the top of your game in different like sector.
Mm-hmm.
But really what works is just to think in the theoretical and the theory, and after that to try it and just to see on the field what is working. And added just a few clients, and I've seen like a few clients with the same problem. And at the end, this is a great way to find your niche.
Is there anything that, I mean, have you faced any challenges around that? Because you're making it sound pretty easy, Charles, right?
No.
But just talk us through, like, when you encountered, because I remember a conversation that we had where you had a very, potentially lucrative opportunity to work with someone who really wanted your help, but they were in a very different area than your current focus is. And I remember when we kind of walked through that, you still ended up feeling pretty clear, like at the end of that conversation, that you knew where you needed to go. But I think for a lot of people, even if they said that, they wouldn't have necessarily stuck to it. Like they would have wanted to kind of, it would have been a much harder decision. It seems like for you, that decision came, I don't know if the word is natural, but it was like you weren't fighting it. I'm just interested in your mindset around how you make those kind of decisions, and any lessons you've learned, on your path so far as being a consultant and consulting firm owner now, because you have a team that you think has been beneficial.
Yeah, I think those decisions are usually driven by fear. And like if you end up doing the wrong thing, even though you know that's the wrong thing, it's just because you're afraid of like not having enough money at the end of the year. But if you have to write the plan, and writing it like really with a pen and paper really helps also to just like visualize it. And at the end of the day, you gotta have courage to take those decisions, because those decisions are not easy to take. You might end up like losing money for a while because a new some path are the hardest. But if you follow the path of least resistance, you're not going to end up with a real business. You're just going to end up a jack of all trades. And this is not the way I wanted to my business to be and live my life. So I think it's really hard, actually. Like it's the worst, because I had a few like opportunity like that in the past 6 months, and or you get like and people in LinkedIn just come at you, oh, do you want that job? And sometimes it's going bad, and you might say yes, but at the end of the day, if you want to build something, build a real business, you gotta take the tough decision.
Yeah. How much of that do you think that mindset comes from your parents? I mean, growing up in a household of entrepreneurs, is that from them, or did you learn that way of approaching things somewhere else?
Yeah, it was a bit from them for sure, but also while I was in university, I was playing professional poker for profit. Basically, all my university was paid by playing professional poker, and it was really ups and downs. And sometimes you lose for a while, even though you play well. And this is really a roller coaster. So it was like my first business, let's say, because I had like a bankroll, and I had to manage the risk and reward. And it was a bit a crazy ride too, but it was a great way to learn the variance of living that life. So
I'm definitely not a gambling man. I've been, last time, when I went to a casino, which was many years ago. Yeah, I don't think I put much down. I probably played like the cheapest slot machines that are out there. But I can't help but think that experience of you playing professional poker really helps to analyze risk and reward and opportunity. And I could see that serving you really well. I think the other thing that stands out for me, Charles, as I've kind of watched your business progressing and growing, is that your clients really seem to, and those that you're targeting, really seem to get what you're offering. And I think that you've done a very good job of kind of taking the feedback that you've received and looking at your offerings and dialing them in, so that the value proposition is very clear to an end client. Talk a little bit about kind of, again, what is your offer? How are you positioning it for your clients? And why do you think that it sits so well with them?
yeah, so basically we help kind of digital company, basically anyone who sells online, to improve their acquisition and increase their retention. with their own data. And this is the important point, because basically right now, most of the smaller organization are just using paid media like Facebook ads and Google ads and so forth. But the cost of acquisition is just going up. Like it's not going down any soon.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a real pain right there, and they are sitting on that big amount of data they've been like building for years with their CRM and their transactional data, and they just are not using it at all usually. So there's a big opportunity for them to to have an alternative in marketing. And the way I found that is I got asked for this, especially like it didn't come from my from me.
Right.
And somebody told me like you're gonna be sure on the right niche when somebody like just gonna ask you, just like come make me this thing. And a lot of people have been asking me for those two particular areas, so acquisition, just and also like understanding their clients at a higher level. So basically I got asked for to do this. Yeah.
And talk a little bit about what's creating those conversations, because I think some people struggle with even having a conversation. So, I mean, what you're saying, if we just kind of reverse engineer it, what's helped you to get really clear about what to offer and how to really dial in and optimize your offerings has been the feedback that you've received from the actual ideal client. They're essentially telling you, here's what we want, because they're asking you for help or they're asking you questions in that area. Well, so to create that, you have to have a conversation with them. How are you having those conversations? What are you doing to just walk us through, like, as in as much detail as you can, as to how you're actually going about creating conversations with these people?
Yeah, so basically, at first, I had like idea about like specific like industry. Let's say, oh, maybe hotels want to know about like their clients. I would just like, I will just like do outreach on LinkedIn, like just send message like 50 and 100%, and like just few of them is gonna talk to me, and after that, I'll do another industry, video games, and so on and so on. So. I'm just like a big outreach guy, and it takes a lot of like, you got to be fearless, because it's hard to like outreach so much people and get rejected like 95% of the time. But at the end of the day, I made like a lot of great connection through that too. And basically this is the
So
way.
I don't want to let you off the hook so quickly, Charles, because I really want to, what the podcast is all about, and you know how I do things. I really want to extract as much value as I can from you here today for everyone. So, I mean, right now, in terms of, or if we back up even 6 months, you're creating these conversations with ad agency owners or e-commerce companies and so forth, or people running, transacting online. You're sending them, you're just finding them on LinkedIn. You're sending them messages, just saying, hey, like, what are you telling them? What are you actually saying to them to get that conversation?
Yeah, it's funny because just before the podcast, I wrote like 75 other names of company I want to reach out next week. So you got to do it like all the time. So basically, I was just asking them like, oh, you are a leader in your industry. I'm looking to do like market research because I'm just starting a new company. Would you mind having like a short call, like 5 or 10 minutes? You're gonna have like just a few questions for them. Like, you don't want to bother them with a 30-minute call, especially during COVID. Like, they're probably on Zoom like 5-6 hours a day. So you really have to like, it really have to be seamless for them, like to say yes. And
So
I've
you're not positioning it as that you have something to offer them. The position that you've been using is just, you're doing some research, you're starting a new company. Is that correct, first of all?
Yeah, and I do not offer them nothing. Like,
Right.
I'm just having talk with a lot of them, and my mindset is like, if that's a great fit for them, they're gonna tell me like that they want to know more about it.
Yeah. And is that what's been happening? Would you say, is that you just, when you talk to the right person, you're asking them questions, that creates a conversation? I'm guessing it often goes longer than the 10 to 15 minutes or whatever that's or 5 or 10 minutes is planned, right? Maybe a bit of a longer call. just naturally transitions to that. And then what they end up saying, hey, Charles, like, is this something you could help us with?
Yeah, exactly. Like when it's a good fit, it's a good fit, and you both know it, and it's not awkward, and you don't have to like sell anything basically, because you just explain your whole offer and you just ask the right question for them, and everything's just fit perfectly. So.
Yeah. Let me ask. So I think some people will be listening to this right now going, yeah, okay, I can see how that would work. Like I understand the whole research perspective or approach, but if I reach out and say I'm starting a new company, I'm doing something like new that I haven't done before, doesn't that mean like the concern that people might have is that you're not positioning yourself as being established, right? You're doing something new. So it's not like you have a proven blah 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 blah, right? What are your thoughts about that? How do you think about that? Because clearly you've made this approach work really well for you.
Yeah, I think one thing that is working for, but first of all, I was telling them I'm a data scientist. I used to work there, and I'm just trying to approach that new domain that is marketing. And there's not a lot of competition in that field at the moment. So for me, it's just like it's a new field. It's not that like I don't know. I'm not a new lawyer, and there's
Right.
plenty of lawyer like data scientists in marketing working for smaller companies who like e-commerce. There's not much competition in that field in Montreal right now. So for them, even though I'm not like I don't have 10 years of experience, it's basically me or like the big firm that cost a lot of money. So
Got you. Okay. And what about, I mean, is there anything that you've changed in your approach in the last few months that you think like, wow, yeah, this has really been a game changer for me. It's helping to be more effective, more efficient. It's getting better results. Anything that stand out for you that you just kind of hit on that you go like, oh, I wish I would have known that sooner?
yeah, it's definitely the video emails. This is like amazing for my employees, for my actual clients to do like end of the week up to date, like where we at with the project, and for outreach. Like let's say I send a message on LinkedIn, and after that the response, and I'm just gonna respond with a personal video call. And I think this is really different from everybody else on LinkedIn that is like doing that automatic messaging or like.
Right. Yeah.
So that's very
This is just for everyone who's listening and watching right now and wondering what we're talking about. We shared in our Clarity coaching program, but also I put some stuff onto LinkedIn recently about the power of using video messages. So you can use tools like Loom or BombBomb or Dub, and I'm sure other ones out there as well that really allows you to make, whether it's personal or something more mass that still feels more personal. But exactly as Charles you've shared, right? This allows you to really differentiate yourself. Most people are just sending messages on LinkedIn, maybe an email. Very few people are picking up the phone and calling. But a video message where someone can actually see you. I mean, they're going to see you at some point, right? Whether it's now or when they hire you, they're going to see you. And so why not leverage the power of that sooner? And that's why we've seen such great success with video messages. And I'm really glad to hear that it's working so well for you. The other area that you've been active in terms of video is YouTube. Or I should say like LinkedIn and videos, right? That you're putting out. Just talk to us for a minute about that. You've created really great videos. Like I have to say, you are natural on camera. I think you do a really good job of those videos. What are those videos for in your mind, and how have you found them to actually be working for you?
Yeah, so basically like at the end of June, just at the end of COVID, things were not like going my way because I was used to do like a lot of events and networking like face to face, and I had to find another way to do it. And I was talking with another consultant that had the same problem as me, so we just like created a lot of content, like both of us. And since we were two, and she's not like in my company, so
Right.
we share that network too. So for both of us, it was like good to be out there, and we just like share good practice. And the thing I was it's a full circle. Like the thing I was talking with my outreach and the question that he had, I was just creating video with it. And it works really well because all the time people tell me like, oh, I've seen you on LinkedIn, and good content. And even though it's not like new clients, even like people I've talked to like last week or last year see me all the time, so I'm always top of mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're saying there is really important, that you're capturing questions or objections or opportunities or observations that you're having with clients or prospective clients all the time, and then you're turning that into content, which in your case is often recording a video and then uploading that to LinkedIn. And then the other thing that you said that's really important for people to hear or and just to really process is that you're not doing it with the expectation you post a piece of content or a video and that turns into a client. You're building the relationship, right? You're adding value. You're really becoming more kind of like omnipresent, where people are just seeing you all over, right? And the more and more they see you, the more comfortable they become with you, the more they really believe that you are the expert. And so even if they're not going to do business with you today, they might refer somebody else to you or mention your name or just come back to you at a later date. So that's really powerful. Let's talk about kind of scaling and growing your business for a minute, Charles, because you started off, it was yourself, and then you said there was kind of one other person for quite some time, so just two of you. You're now up to five or so people. How are you thinking about growing? Like what changes have you made in order to be able to manage growth and really build your team effectively?
Yeah, so growth is all about, I think, for me, it's all about marketing. I'm not doing data science anymore. I'm a marketing business because you need clients to grow. Like
Right.
you need water to the mill, and this is the most important thing. After that, I have five person on my team, but it's interns and it's also like part-time employee too. So I'm not like, I don't have a huge payroll right now, but I have,
Right.
but they can help me a lot. Like I'm willing to invest in younger employees just to leverage my knowledge and to accelerate the way I can produce.
Right.
And this is something that you gotta, I think the first employee is the hardest, because you gotta start thinking like, I'm not spending money, I'm investing money, and at first it's not gonna be like super lucrative for you. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be really hard to make money with him in the first like few months, and a lot of people just gonna like stay alone because of that. But you're gonna change your mindset. Actually, this is a mindset thing. Yeah.
Definitely. So let's, I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. You mentioned that right now you're not doing as much of the data science work. You're having other people on your team do more of that so that you can focus more on marketing strategy, business development, really building the business. Is that correct?
Yeah, like let's say half and half. But
Okay.
I used to do like
Everything.
only data science and what I
Yeah.
was an employee. And right now, before noon, I'm doing my programming and my data stuff, and afternoon, I'm just doing the outreach and thinking about the business.
And how do you decide what elements or what kind of aspects of the data science work to delegate and to outsource or to give to your team? Like, how did you identify which were the tasks or the areas that you could give to others? Because oftentimes people feel like, no, I can't give that to somebody else because I'm the best at it, right? And it's going to take me too long to train people or whatever. So how did you actually make that decision and hand that off?
Yeah, I think you gotta be the quality check. Like you cannot like send work that is done by interns directly to the clients. And after
Right.
that, you gotta be the project manager. Like you're gonna think about like what is gonna be done and in which way. But from my experience, like interns are really good to do like school work. So if you lay out like exactly what you want, they're gonna do it like they do in school. So you gotta really think about it and just like draft exactly what you want, and it's gonna end up okay, decent at the end of the day. And they're gonna learn with the way you work. And yeah.
Is there anything that you've been doing in your personal life that you feel really helps you in your business? Anything related to mindset, physical health, personal development, habits? Anything that just stands out for you, Charles, that you think's really helped you with the business?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of meditation twice a day, morning and morning and at night. After that, a lot of training. So I run a lot and I train. Not so much right now because of all the gyms are closed in Montreal because of COVID. But
Right.
I think this is really important. Nutrition also, it's really, really important to eat well. Like I'm never gonna eat like a burger for lunch. That this is like a waste of.
Not what you do.
No, and finally, I read a lot. Like I read like minimum an hour a day. At 8:30, I stop all the screen and I just read or talk with my girlfriend, or I
Yeah,
stop working for sure at 8:30 every night.
right. Um, where do you want to take the business next? I mean, you and I have talked about uh, the plan is really to build software, right? And you've been kind of planting the seeds for that now through the work that you're doing. Just tell us a little bit more. Kind of give us a sneak peek into where Charles is going to be in the future. Where do you want to take the business?
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna take the startup path with the investment. I just um, I'm looking forward to go to Next AI, the incubator in Montreal, for 2021. So I fill up the form for that earlier this month. So this is might be a nice way to come into the startup world. But I'm looking forward to get a round of get more money in the business and grow faster than just by myself. So.
But talk a little bit more about, I mean, what have you found to be most helpful through the process that you've been going through in terms of the conversations? Like you're still today creating a lot of the quote unquote kind of software or work for the client, but the end goal is to actually have more of a productized, a software offering, right? That is not customized to every single client, but it adheres or deals with what clients need most. What do you think for somebody who's also maybe considering software down the road? What would you say has been most beneficial for you going through the steps that you've taken on the consulting side to actually get more clarity and confidence for software?
Yeah, I think this is the best way to not build a software that nobody wants. Like since I found the pain of the clients, and they've been like asking me for this, especially like this is the best way to really understand what is going to be working as a product down the road. Is just to identify a pain that a lot of clients have and find a way to create a software that gonna help companies that have that pain down the road.
Yeah. Well, Charles, I want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us some of your story. It's been a real honor and pleasure to see just the tremendous growth in your business as you've been in the program here, and I'm excited to see the future and what it holds for you, because I know it's going to be more big stuff because you're doing really great work. But I also want to make sure people can learn more about you and see firsthand what you are creating and see your content. I know a lot of it's in French, but you do have still quite a bit of stuff in English. Where should people go? What's the best place for them to learn more about you and your work?
Yeah, you can go on fluxion.ca. You can find me on LinkedIn at Charles Demontigny, Demontigny. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it
And yeah.
right. And your accent is much better than mine. So thanks for that, Charles. We'll have everything linked up in the show notes so that people can find your website, find your LinkedIn profile, and just check out what you're up to. So again, Charles, thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Michael.